Hey everyone, I'm John. I collect cards. And what you are seeing here is, well, what you think it is. It is a Hank Aaron rookie card. The 1954 Topps number 128, Henry Aaron, outfield Milwaukee Braves. I have it in my collection. I can't believe it. And I am now done with the 1954 set. I have all 250 cards, and I'm still kind of blown away on how it all happened, how quickly happened. So I guess the quick version of this story is you never know what you might find, under the couch cushions, so to speak, or in my case, in my basement storage, in a plastic bag that's, been just mostly tucked away in a plastic bag for at least the last 12 years since I've been in Michigan. So I will try to explain this really quickly, but first off, I'll pick up the card here and just show you. It is an old SGC label, fair 1.5. So I was able to get a 1.5, not like a 1 that was, almost a 0.5. My thought was if I was ever able to acquire a Henry Aaron rookie, it was going to be, maybe something that resembles a Henry Aaron rookie, and that it would be such a 1 that would be in such poor condition that it would just be all that my budget would allow someday. But, an interesting turn of events happened here in the last few weeks here. But as you can see, it's, I'll explain here briefly as soon as I show you a little bit here of the card. It's got its creases, but the corners in the centering are like a 2.5 almost, maybe even a 3, in terms of how that, presents. But, there are lots of creases in the card, which makes me think this might have been a classic bike spoke kind of card, maybe. I'm guessing maybe that's how these creases, because there's like creases in almost all the corners, or in all the quadrants. And there's one kind of here, but it misses his face, which, see if you can see it right there, it just misses his face. It's sort of like, there's some white, there's some paper loss right there. That's kind of an issue, but not a big one though. So it's like, here's kind of one of the major creases in terms of that has paper loss in it too. But this card for a 1.5 presents pretty nice in my opinion. Creases aside, which, was a given. No doubt about it. If I was ever going to have a Henry Aaron, creases were going to be a part of it, and probably many. And this one does have many. But it's somehow, incredibly, this card, in my opinion, still presents pretty well. Going up close a little bit, you can see kind of how those creases are baked in pretty good there. But, SGC, let's see, I looked up the number on this. SGC graded this card, I think it was in 2015 or 2008. It was either it was over 5 years ago for sure. I can't remember the actual year, but it was graded, sometime in the last 10 or so years, I think. I wish I should have looked up the date again before I pressed record here. I think it was 2015 when this was graded, from SGC. So, this is, I wish it had the current label, but, you can't really ask for something like that. And I'm not going to have it re-slab just to get a different label on it. That's not at all what I'm thinking there, but this will be, this is in the permanent collection, so to speak. I have completed the 1954 set, but I will tell you really quick now how this happened. So you probably saw from the title of the video here that basically I made a very unlikely, it wasn't exactly a trade, although essentially it was almost like an exchange on my end that involved different parties. But when I got my Ernie Banks card that I showed in a prior video about a month and a half ago, sort of rummaging through some stuff, saying, I want to try to sell some stuff, try to offset the the cost to get the card. So I was looking at some cards that I had, and I did sell some, but then I also looked at, I have a very old, I have an old Atari 2600 game console and about 30 games to go with it. So I was thinking, I haven't plugged that in probably 5 to 10 years at least. And it's just kind of collecting dust in my basement. And I thought, man, maybe it's time to part with that and see what it's worth. In reality, it's probably only worth, it would probably get me a couple $100, maybe $250. And a dealer would probably be able to sell it for more than that. But in terms of what I could expect from it, probably about a couple $100. So honestly, it had a little bit more sentimental value to me than that. So I'm thinking, not right now. I'll hold on to it for a little longer. But then I noticed I had these right next to my old Atari stuff in a basement storage room, some Star Wars toys. And I'm not a big Star Wars toy collector by any means. I don't have any original action figures or anything like that. Even though I grew up when those first episodes 4 to 6 were coming out. I played with friends' action figures, I think, and was a little jealous of not having my own too much. But it just, I don't know, it just never really. I was, my parents were getting me. My dad was getting me baseball cards more than Star Wars action figures, I guess. Which in retrospect, I'm totally fine with. But when the re-releases of the original episodes 4 to 6 came out in the late 90s, so this was a precursor to episode 1, Phantom Menace. They re-released the original 3, and they added a few scenes that were deleted originally, and a lot of you might recognize all that. I was living in New York at the time, and I saw each of the movies in what is now closed, but it was a classic theater called the Ziegfeld Theater in Midtown Manhattan, and each of those I went there on opening weekend for each of the 3, and those were a happening, let me tell you. In fact, now I wasn't in this video or anything, but there's a classic Conan O'Brien what's his name? Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. There's a classic bit of him being in line in one of those Star Wars openings at the Ziegfeld. I encourage you to see it. It's probably one of Conan's all-time best, video bits or comic bits that he, had on his show. But I was there for those 3 opening weekends, and they were great. They were something. But anyway, Taco Bell did a toy series for Star Wars, and the person, a roommate of mine in Manhattan I was living with, we were both kind of Star Wars guys, and I had to look up the fast food chain. I couldn't remember where they were from, but we had all the toys, and we had them out on our, we had our apartment had a fireplace basically with a mantle on it. Didn't work, of course. Not that we would want to have it work, but we kind of just had the toys on the ledge of the mantle or whatever, just for no reason, because we were Star Wars guys. There might have been a few beer bottles and stuff around too on there, and some other stuff perhaps. But so next to that, so I've had those toys for years, I guess. Just for some reason they came with me, I guess, when we moved eventually, went our separate ways. But very good friend of mine, college buddy of mine. What am I going to say here? So alongside those, on that fireplace ledge, this brick ledge, mantle, whatever you want to call it, I had gone to, for work, I was assigned to go to the New York Toy Fair in 1999. I was working for a magazine at the time, and so I was walking around the Javits Center, and it was the first time I ever been to one of those, and it's huge, and I don't remember much of it at all. At this point, it was 23 years ago, I guess. Just, walking around booths at a trade show, just like, any big trade show like even the National would be, I suppose. But this toy fair is a pretty big one, I guess. Very important one in the industry in New York each year, each February. And the Lego booth was giving away, and a lot of these tables have giveaways for, whether it's, press people or just other visitors, I guess, who stop by. and I came away with this Lego box that had Star Wars in it. It was Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader's recreated lightsaber duel from Return of the Jedi. And we had that on, we ended up putting that on the brick mantle next to the Taco Bell Star Wars toys. Just for whatever, it was a music box actually. And it opened up and it played the main theme, Luke's theme. And if I remember right, I think I'm remembering right, that it would not stop playing. As long as it was open, it would keep going. And so we ended up, because we wanted to display it, we disengaged the sound piece on the bottom of it, and to be able to just keep it open and show it. So anyway, we had it like that. I came away with that Star Wars thing too, and when we left, I've had them just, they've gone with me for I think 3 other moves since then. So I just, curiosity, got me, and I started Googling what maybe these toys, if they had any value whatsoever. The Taco Bell ones had minor value at best, $4 to $5. A little bit more if they were unopened and like from their plastic bags and stuff, which makes sense. But so I probably had $30 to $40 worth of the Star Wars toys at best, for the Taco Bells at best. Probably less, more like 20 to 25. And then I Googled this box, and that's when like I had a holy crap moment. It was like, so basically, I know I'm taking almost 12 minutes here to get to the gist of the story, but Lego only made roughly 200. They think Lego only made 200 of these boxes, and I ended up with one of them. And it turns out it was the very first Lego Star Wars item made available to the public in any fashion. That's my understanding. The first actual Lego products, Lego Star Wars products, came out later that year in 1999, but apparently these like diorama music boxes of Luke and Vader duking it out with the lightsabers was the first one. So it's kind of a, I guess amongst Star Wars and Lego collectors, it's a grail kind of item, and I happen to have one of them. So, of course, I'm starting to dig around and finding any info I can about this, and I found a Facebook post on a Lego, I think it was a Lego Star Wars group. I don't think it was a Lego group. I think it was a Lego Star Wars Facebook group from just like a week before. And from that Facebook group, it turned out that like, someone had just sold one recently, and it was the first time one of them had sold in, I don't know, several years or something. And I saw they posted pictures of it, and I was like, yeah, that's what I got. I can't believe it. It's got like, the flap of the box has like particular, messaging for trade show, toy fair folks, if they're interested in, making a deal, I guess, for, to get these sets in for your business or store or whatever, call a certain number, yada, yada, yada. But, I had one of these boxes, and they were selling for thousands of dollars. Long story short. And I didn't even have the whole box. But I priced it. I ended up putting it on eBay, and the number of offers and number of page views it got in like the first 30 minutes was ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. So needless to say, I had the thing sold in about 12 hours for pretty close to what I asked for it. And I did a strategic ask based on what I kind of concluded I had, and what I could gauge very minimally from the little information I was able to find on Google. But apparently this is a highly sought after piece. And so yeah, eventually I packed it up very, very securely with lots of bubble wrap. I have a pretty good eBay rating for shipping and stuff, but this one I took really good care to ship out priority mail, and the guy got it, and that was it. And then shortly after, I just started looking for this guy. And I found what I thought was a really good example for a 1.5. I came at it with I can't believe I had a budget to go for a Henry Aaron. But I was able to acquire this and have about a third, about 25 to 30% of what I netted from the sale of the Star Wars Lego piece left over. So let's just say that this cost me right around 2,000, and the Lego piece sold, and I netted a little over 3 for the Lego piece. So, and that was after the sale price was more than that on eBay. I actually reached out to Heritage Auctions first for the Star Wars piece, but they got back to me really quickly and said that they just don't deal with the toy category. And they referenced or gave me recommendations for 3 toy auction houses to look at, which was really nice of them. But I did some digging on each one, and each of those were really like in the antique toy category, like, early 20th century, even 19th century kinds of stuff. I didn't really see Star Wars kinds of stuff on any of their sites. And, I wasn't knowing what I was going to be getting into. They were smaller outfits than Heritage. And so, I decided to try my luck on eBay because I just wanted to move quickly with it too, if possible. I was willing to go through the whole process with Heritage because, I know how reputable they are and how, what their place is in that world. But I ended up trying my luck on eBay, and yeah, it was, it all happened really fast. Let's put it that way. And, sometimes things like that happen, I guess. And so it was sort of a lightning strike, and essentially, I traded Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader for Hank Aaron. So there's my little story. Not so little, I guess. It turned out to be longer in video than I hoped, as most of mine end up being. But hopefully that entertained you a little bit. But yeah, I have completed the 1954 Topps set in about 2 years. And this card did it. So thanks everybody for watching and listening. If you made it this far, I'm posting this video shortly after the National ended. So if you were out at Atlantic City, I hope you had a great time and came away with a good haul. Take care, and I will see you on the next video.